this week I am super excited to welcome to the show someone who actually I was just thinking about it, Kelly, as we were talking. I think you were maybe my first astrology friend.
I think
I
yes.
think you were. It was when we were
Yes.
both really starting out.
Yep.
And I was definitely in a little bubble. I don't know about you. And so Kelly, we were talking about how I would describe her. She's definitely a super experienced, extremely well-respected astrologer. She lives in Canada. She does a lot of work in Australia. She's won prizes. She does trainings. She's amazing. And honestly, I can't recommend Kelly highly enough to anyone who's listening. She is the real deal. She's a serious astrologer who knows her sect from her Fedaria. And yeah, she's someone really, really interesting. And I'm very excited to have you on the show, Kelly. And welcome.
Thanks so much, Yasmin. That's so kind. Yeah, we have known each other for many decades now.
Many decades. Let's just pay
Yeah.
tribute to that lovely astrology teacher you had that I went to a little bit with you as well. What was her name?
Her name was Parampara, and she was
Parampara.
teaching in Sydney in the through the 90s and the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Not far from where you were in Bondi, actually.
Yes,
So we
and
had
that's
a
one of
great
the
little
things
crew.
we did, wasn't it? I went to a few of those sessions with you before she very sadly passed away very quickly and
Yes.
unexpectedly from what I could gather at the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. So what we are going to do today for everyone who's listening is we're actually just going to go through, first of all, the astrology for the week ahead, like we always do, then the moonology, touching on the fact that even though it's a quarter moon this week, we're going to talk a little bit about the eclipse. Is that all good with you, Kelly?
That sounds great.
What's in the stars?
All right, so let's kick off by talking about the first aspect of the week, which is a bit of a Debbie Downer.
It is, yes.
But there's always a good way to use these things. So take it away, Kelly. We're talking about Sun opposite Saturn.
Sun opposite Saturn, September 8th. It is a clarifying and grounding aspect. I really appreciate Sun Saturn aspects because they remind me of where my limits are. And so Sun Saturn can be clarifying, and you might find yourself making a really necessary choice or decision. Simplifying, streamlining, and focusing on core priorities is a great Sun Saturn strategy.
Okay, so for people who don't know, let's just define the Sun and Saturn a little bit.
Sure.
And then let's also talk about, the slightly more negative side as well, just to, not completely whitewash everything.
Sure, absolutely. So the sun is a lot about your center, your essence, or your core. It can be about your identity or the heart of who you are. And Saturn is a lot about responsibility. A way to think about Saturn like as sort of a person archetype is, that wise older person who has got that voice of caution or voice of reason, or is sometimes always saying no to you. You've got all these ideas and you go, and that person is like, you can't do that for these reasons. You don't have the time, or you don't have the money, or if you do that, you won't be able to do these other two things.
Yeah.
Saturn is that voice of no sometimes.
Yes, absolutely. And I sometimes think of it as well as that mean teacher, but who actually helped you progress.
Yes, because they're like, you haven't done as much as you can. You're capable of more. Put in some extra effort. This work is not good enough yet. Kind of thing. Like back to the drawing board. Yeah.
So with all that said, Sun opposite Saturn, I love what you said about it can be a good time to check, am I doing too much? Do I need to rein things in a bit? Do I need to put some limitations on all the things I'm reaching for? And more, if we're not living our best life, it can be a bit depressing, can't it? So, just to be careful if you're a bit upset at the start of the week.
Absolutely. It's very melancholy. So the feeling can be, I can't do it. I have too much on my plate. I'm overwhelmed. I feel like I can't handle everything that is on my plate or that is in front of me. So if you do feel that at the start of the week, it's going to be a little hard. And it's sort of that reminder to figure out how to get to saying no.
Yeah,
I think
beautiful.
Saturn's always very good about like, here's the consequences. Where did we not say no before? And now we are like, sort of feel like we're a bit breaking
Yeah,
at that point in
exactly.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and also, if you're feeling really down at the start of the week, if you felt a bit crappy over the weekend and you're feeling a bit down, try to remember it probably is Sun Saturn affecting you. Maybe it's hitting your chart, and it literally is a case of this too will pass. It's not the biggest, energy influence of all anyway. It's just the Sun clashing with Saturn. It's a thing that will pass. And try to, make a plan. That could also be a good thing because Saturn loves the plan. So,
Loves a
think, okay,
plan,
get a
loves the
plan for
schedule.
getting myself out of this, or get a plan for this week, and I'm going to start to feel more functional because Saturn loves us to be functional,
Yes.
So, try and drill down on what's upsetting you and the hard work you have to do to work through it. So, okay, that's a really good way for us to start because probably people could be feeling a little bit down in the dumps as the week begins. So it's good we've addressed that.
Yeah, you won't. Saturn is not a planet associated with optimism and hope. And
Yeah,
so
exactly.
it is more of a planet of worry and concern. And,
Worry is a
so
very good word.
yeah, worry is a great word. So we're like, we don't stay there. You're 100% right, because the astro vibes change so much as the week rolls on, but it's where we start.
Yeah, yeah. And also, let's just mention as well the fact that we're going to be heading into an eclipse season quite soon too. So the energies are going to be getting higher and higher. And it is actually good to be, Saturn word, disciplined about
Yes.
getting on an even keel before all hell breaks loose with the
With the
eclipse
eclipses,
energy.
before all the emotions come out. Yes.
Exactly. And when I say all hell breaks loose, guys, I'm just joking. It's not like that. But eclipses are, pretty energized times. So if
Yeah.
you can get on an even keel, use it to get organized and just get your life in order. Which actually, speaking of which, getting organized leads us nicely into the next thing we could talk about.
Are you talking about Mercury and Virgo?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
of
So this
course.
is one of my favorite astro planetary combinations for September, and it starts on September 9, which
Yeah,
is Mercury, planet of thinking and communication and strategy, coming into one of its home signs, Virgo, where it's very analytical, it's very detailed, it's very precise, it's very organized. So there's this energy kicking in on Monday, September 9, which is fantastic for organizing, decluttering, making decisions. Mercury in Virgo is very good at problem solving and coming up with solutions. And so it's very clear, it's very factual, it's very grounded. And I think that's going to be a really great energy to have, for the next couple of weeks, but it starts September 9.
yeah, and it's also great to offset what we talked about with Sun and Saturn. Okay, so you've had the day on the couch staring at Netflix, thinking my life is screwed, to thinking, you know what, I better do something about this, and decluttering your mind, decluttering your house, and starting to make some notes about what you can do and what you can't do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to say, just while we're at this, I've been talking a lot about Pluto's last sweep through Capricorn, which
Yes.
feels to me very much like time to declutter all
Yes.
the debris, emotional, literal, metaphorical, and all that. So, yeah, do you agree with that, Kelly?
100%. I think Pluto is just back in Capricorn for a couple of months. It's
Yeah,
the last time, it's the tail end of a cycle that began back in 2008. So it is definitely about endings, closure, completion. What are you taking out with the trash? What are you sending out with the garbage collection? And this Mercury in Virgo is just, when you think you've decluttered your wardrobe and then 2 weeks later you come back and you're like, there's still more that I can get rid of.
yeah,
That's Mercury in Virgo. And that's kind of the Pluto in Capricorn for the last time. Like, I thought I'd address this, but maybe there's something else I need to say
yeah,
or another thing I need to do to make sure it's completely detoxed and
yeah.
purged from my life.
And I feel like, funnily enough, I mean, just as an aside, I was watching someone online who was talking. It was actually Colette Barron-Reed doing an oracle card reading for the month ahead, and it was a little bit down the dumpsy. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, it's a shame she's doing that. I was, quite like it if it was more upbeat and so on. But even as I look at this, I can really feel that energy. It is that sort of completions, ending, declutter, face
Yeah.
facts, harsh realities, make a list, check it twice, do the thing. It is a bit like that at the moment, isn't it? We're not, it's just, it
Yeah.
is like that right now.
It is. Yeah. And it can be depressing or it can just be matter of fact. It is this sense of we're transitioning into a whole new era, and we don't want to bring the dregs from the past. You don't want to bring the energetic baggage from the
Yeah.
past. You don't want to bring the fears and worries from the past. You also don't want to bring the patterns or the attitudes. You want to shift that. So that's part of what we're doing right now for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So then we get on the 12th of September, Mercury's first aspect is a sextile to Mars. So
Yes.
let's talk about that one. What have you got on that one?
So Mercury sextile Mars, this is great for talking about stuff that might be a little uncomfortable, a little challenging. We're talking about our feelings because Mars is in Cancer water sign, but Mercury Mars combinations are great for making decisions. As humans, we really struggle with making choices because we hate to think that we're closing our options off, or we hate to think we're disappointing somebody else. And Mercury Mars is like, look, this may not be ideal, but we've got to make a decision because we're stuck. We're treading water until we choose, and then the energy is in flow again. So Mercury sextile Mars, I really like this aspect, deciding and doing, sending the papers, sending the email, sending the message, being upfront about what you do and don't want. It's going to be, it's Wednesday, Thursday, depending on where people are in the world. So I think it's a very mentally active day where you want to express or act on the thoughts and ideas that you're having.
Yeah, I love that. And I also think, for anyone who's been a little bit nervous about doing something, if you've got to have that conversation or you've got to send that email, Mars has this brashness about it that's really forward moving. I always say that Mars is like the engine of the zodiac. If the zodiac were a car, Mars is the engine, and without Mars, we wouldn't get to move forward. And it's a bit like that. So it's not so much about confidence, because I feel like the sun is really about confidence. It's more about that Martian drive to just effing do it, just to push forward,
Just do it.
get
Yeah.
it done. And it does also, I think, suggest, because it's a lovely sextile with Mercury, the planet of communications, Mars, the planet of action, it is sort of like whatever you do that does require communication, writing, thinking, talking, listening, any of that, it will kind of be like the wind beneath your wings, pushing it
Yes.
in the right direction.
Absolutely. Yeah. Mercury is moving forward. It's not
Yeah.
retrograde. Mars hasn't slowed down for its retrograde. I love what you're saying, that this is very, very much about moving forward. It's looking to the future. Where am I going? What do I
Yeah.
need to do to get where I want to go? And Mars brings the bravery and the courage.
Yes, and I think, courage is the beautiful word for that as well. And I also think that the aspect, the sextile, is really important for people to understand. This is a good thing. This is easy. It's not like,
Yeah, this is a collaborative quality. Yeah.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's good. So, the week might start off with a little bit of a headache, but it does definitely improve. So then let's go to, also happening on the same day, let's see, just about, I don't know, 8 hours later or something, we're going to get this Sun square to Jupiter. Now, does that mean we're going to go too far and say too much in all our Mercury Mars? I'm going to say it, I'm going to do it, and then, oh my God, I said too much. Is that something to be careful of, do you think?
It could be like, a square aspect has this sort of little bit of friction or heat in it. And Jupiter has that quality of exaggeration and going too far. That said, a Sun Jupiter combination is kind of empowering. There is this shot of optimism or a dose of self-belief where you start to believe that you can do something, or that you are, ready for the next adventure. You might overextend yourself a little bit, but I think it won't be like harmful or just make yourself a little busier. We're going to be getting close to the quarter moon around this Sun Jupiter aspect, which is in Sagittarius. So there is a sense of like confidence and energy and drive. Sun Jupiter is like, I want to have meaning. I want to pursue my faith. I want to have adventures. And the big thing with the Sun square Jupiter is I'm willing to take a risk to go
I
after
love that.
something that really means something for me.
Yeah, I love that. That's it. Take a risk. And I always like to quote Robert Hand, who at a Faculty of Astrology lecture said, there's no such thing as a bad Jupiter transit.
Yes,
And I
that's
mentioned
exactly
that
it.
to our mutual
Yeah.
friend Lynn Bell, and she said, oh, he's Sagittarius. Of course he says that. But, you know, I think his words are gold, and I'm going to go with Robert Hand's opinion on this.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, if there is an issue of excess, it's an issue of too much, you know, sometimes there is too much of a good thing, but it's still a good thing. And then we're just trying to integrate it. It's different from, oh my God, this is big problem I've got to deal with. That's not what we're talking about here.
I mean, exactly. It can be almost like too much of a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And Jupiter's in Gemini. We're all curious. We all want all the information. We want to take all the courses, read all the books, listen to all the podcasts.
Yeah, exactly. So I just want to finish by talking about Saturday night, because that's really, this podcast goes out on a Sunday. And on Sunday, we do have this rather lovely Venus-Jupiter alignment. It's a trine, and it's happening in the wee small hours, or actually early morning in the
Oh,
UK.
you're looking at the 15th of
Yes.
September.
So even though this podcast really only covers to the 14th, it will make Saturday night rather pleasant, wouldn't you think?
Yes, that Venus-Jupiter trine aspect is one of the best aspects of September. It's social, it's affectionate, it's fun, it's got an art and cultural quality. It's friendship, it's romance. Like, if you're planning a fun night out with friends, you want to do something fun with your lover, your romantic partner, Saturday the 14th, Sunday the 15th, excellent for that kind of date night, date day energy.
I love it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we've done a good job. I think we can say the week starts off a little bit tricky, but it's going to end up getting better and better.
It just goes up from there, basically,
exactly,
I think.
Exactly. Okay. All right. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then now let's take a look at the moonology.
Where's the moon?
We have a quarter moon, which is taking place in the sign of Sagittarius, and it's a first quarter moon. So it's the first quarter moon after the new moon. So what do you say? Moon in Sag, sun in Virgo.
Yeah. In Virgo, moon in Sag. I say many good things about the first quarter moon phase. It is one of my favorite phases because it brings a lot of growth. There's a huge amount of energy and drive. It's the start of a part of the moon cycle that I associate with the season of summer. So there is this activity, this sense of possibility. We've got this growing, waxing quality. So the energy of increase and accumulation starts to get really strong at the first quarter moon. Because this is the first quarter moon in Sagittarius, there is a lot of hope. There's a sense of adventure. There is this sort of optimistic quality that better days or brighter days are ahead, and we're willing to work towards them. So I think it's a really exciting quarter moon that we have coming this week.
So it's very interesting, because I'm always told by everyone how optimistic and upbeat I am, but I think you've just out-optimismed me and out-upbeated me. Because I would also say, yes, all that, love that, 100%. However, I would also say, you know, there is also this element of the square that the sun and the moon are making. And we do have I don't want to rain on anyone's parade after you've just given them this lovely angle on it, but there is this slight element of the moon is like, everything's going to be fine, but just clashing with that sun in Virgo, which is a bit like, yes, as long as you dot your I's and cross your T's.
Cross your T's.
Am I being
that's fair. That's fair. And I think one of the important things about the first quarter moon is that, you know, it's a little bit of a time of attrition at the start. And what I mean by that is, you know, if you planted a bunch of tomato seeds and you give them a bit of time, maybe 10 of them come up, and then you give them a bit more time, and it looks like 6 of them are really going to go, and you're going to ditch the other 4 because you want to put the resources into those 6 that are looking good. And with squares, we're making a little bit of a tweak or adjustment, and then we're going forward. One of the reasons I think this quarter moon is so upbeat, it is in Sagittarius, which I think helps, but it's also got Jupiter involved. So the sun in Virgo might be trying to say, but have you done your homework and have you prepared?
Yeah.
with, going into this first quarter phase with an opposition to Jupiter is like, she'll be right, mate. This is very Australian to say, we're going to figure it out as we go,
Yeah,
kind of thing.
yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I do think there is this sense of possibility. I really like this second week of September for a number of reasons.
Yeah, yeah. And so just to sort of relate back to what we said at the start, so this quarter moon actually comes between Mercury moving into Virgo and then Mercury making a harmonious aspect to Mars. So it's absolutely everything Kelly said and more. So that's good. And it's just ahead of, and it is going to be opposing Jupiter as well. So there will be,
It's a little bit of
I'm not trying to
yeah,
be negative. I'm just saying, go forward,
totally.
but it's like go to the airport and travel wherever you want to go, but remember your passport.
Yes.
No?
Or that you'll have to pay your credit card bill off when you get home or
Yeah,
something.
exactly.
Yes.
So let's talk about the fact then that this is the last lunar aspect before we move into the eclipse season, which I will go into more next week. But let's just touch on that because I'd love to hear your thoughts. Am I allowed to say that Kelly is a Piscean and we are moving towards an eclipse in Pisces? Maybe start off by telling us what you feel about that, because there'll be lots of Pisceans who hear this go, oh my God, there's an eclipse in Pisces. What does that mean?
Yeah, so the lunar eclipse will be in Pisces, September 17, September 18, depending on where you are. And look, I think if you are a Pisces, it can certainly strike your chart in a strong way. But I think for all of us, the eclipse is very close to Neptune. It's in a water sign. It is a full of feeling eclipse. There's going to be a lot of emotion. There's going to be a lot of sensitivity, dreams and yearning and craving for that divine connection. So I think this quarter moon in Sagittarius that we're talking about is sort of this sense of dreaming big, and then we have to figure out all our feelings about it, and that's what the Pisces eclipse is going to bring forward for sure.
Okay, amazing. So Kelly, I am excited because I'm going to be coming to on Zoom to your moon event that you've got in September, but I believe you have something starting this week. Do tell us all about it.
Yeah. So right now I have the once a year intake for my full astrology training program. So there's a special bundle price offer, which is available just until September 15. And if you want to learn astrology, whether you're a beginner or you've been self-taught for a while, if you want a really supported and grounded pathway that will take you from the very basics all the way up to where you can share astrology with other people, that's what I offer inside my astrology training program. So,
And how does it work?
yeah.
Is it like once a week, once a month, live, pre-record? How does it go?
Yeah, that's a great question. So it's weekly classes and there are live Q&As every couple of weeks. Every 2 weeks we have live Q&As. The classes are pre-recorded, which gives students lots of flexibility to work around, your everyday schedule. We also have students all over the world. So the pre-recorded classes allow people to get the info wherever they are. And then we meet up every couple of weeks for our live Q&A. There are weekly readings. There's also a homework activity that students get personal feedback on. So you get lots of support to help make sure you're really learning and integrating the astrological material.
And so if people do this, what can they
Yeah.
expect to come out at the other end?
At the other end. So it's about 18 months if you stick with the kind of weekly schedule we've got. If you need to take a little bit more time, that's okay. There's flexibility there. At the end of it, you'll get a certificate of completion and you will be ready to start sharing astrology with clients, with friends, with family, however you want to use it. We have students who want to be astrologers themselves and they get all the training they need to go to that level. And we also have students who are just interested in astrology for personal growth and self-development. They want to improve their relationships, their family dynamics. They want to get to know themselves better. So there's lots of options there. Basically, I take all the astrological techniques that I use in my client practice that I know work and that give results for clients, and I teach them to you over the 18-month training program.
Amazing. And how many people have taken your course so far, do you reckon?
Hundreds.
Amazing.
Yeah. I feel like 1,000 is such a big number, but I mean, maybe we're close to that. I'm not sure. I've been teaching this program for a number of years now, and there are people who are past graduates who are, well-known and established astrologers themselves.
Oh, really? Can
Yeah.
you name any names, or would
No,
that be a little
I
bit
don't,
cruel?
I won't name drop them.
Okay, fair enough. I will say that I honestly could not recommend Kelly more highly. I know astrology and I know astrologers, and she's the real deal. You will not find a better teacher. So I actually do have an Astrology Made Easy course. So I'm doing myself out of business here. My course is brilliant, but it's different. Mine's like over 6 lessons or something, and it will help you understand the basics of your chart. Um, Great place to start. But Kelly will take you to a different level, and I highly recommend her course. And I would especially say grab it now while it's on a special discounted rate, because
Yeah,
mine
this
isn't.
is this is the best price we offer at all, just once a year. There are more than 50 classes in the program that you will take over the course, over the full training program. And we have students who say, I thought I knew a lot about astrology because I'd been studying in various places for a while, and then I came here and now I really get it. Now it makes sense for me in a way that it didn't make sense before.
And just to kind of, bamboozle people with a bit of astrology science, give us a few examples of what people will learn in there, especially at the other end of things a bit more complicated. Like, do you get as far as transits or progressions or?
Absolutely. Yeah. You will learn about like planetary strength, planetary dignity. You'll learn about aspects. You'll learn about how moon phases add into your personality. You'll learn about fixed stars. And that's just in the first few months. Then we get into timing, and you're going to learn about transits and secondary progressions and how to use the two together. We have specialized courses on popular topics like career and relationships, so that you get some extra techniques, including things like temperament to figure out compatibility. And then we also have some more advanced courses about talking about things that look a bit challenging in the chart. How do we identify them? What does it really mean in everyday life? And then how do we share that with other people? And the final course in the program is the benefits and blessings, like how to really identify the good stuff, the place where the person has ease and support and joy and opportunity. So there's lots of technical pieces, there's lots of interpretive practice as well.
Yeah, and I'm going to just say for the record, my course is very much a starter course. It will teach you to understand your way around your chart. This will take you to another level. So do you want to just give us the prices again, Kelly?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So you can find out all the details over at my website, kellysastrology.com. The course, if you want to pay like in a one-off payment now to cover you for your full 18 months, my prices are in Canadian dollars. So keep that in mind for currency. It's $2,395 for your 50 classes, your pack, your live Q&As. There's also a monthly payment plan option. And if that's more convenient for you, it's $199.95, 12 months. So they're the two options. And both of those options, the pay in full or the monthly installment, they're only available until September 15.
And what are they normally then?
So I think the discount is about $370 off
Wow.
the full courses. So if you were going to just take the courses, individually, and pay as you pay, nearly $400 more.
Amazing. Do it,
Yeah.
guys. If you're interested in astrology, you really will not go wrong. And, I love the fact that it takes 18 months, or you allow about 18 months, because, people think they can learn astrology in a weekend. And indeed, I do think you can learn the basics in about half an hour, but it's a lifelong thing. So
It is. Yeah, you can learn to recognize the basics quite quickly, but to really understand them and to be able to interpret them or share them with others, that's what takes a little bit more time to make the knowledge embodied inside you.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, well, look, I think I've raved enough about you, but there you are, ladies and gentlemen. Kelly Surtees, she's amazing. Sign up with her. Go to her website, kellysastrology.com, do her course, go and see when she's live, all that. Thank you so
Thank you
much,
so
Kelly.
much. Thank you, Yasmin. It was a real treat to see you. I'm sure we'll see each other again soon.